Setting the stage, Apple's surprise delay. Recap of Apple's regular MacBook upgrade cycle. Why the M5 MacBook Pro's delay matters. Apple breaks its own rhythm what we expected in 2025. Why the delay is so surprising. Comparison to past Apple release patterns. The new timeline when to expect the M5 MacBook Pro. Early 2026 launch window. Possibility of 2 MacBook Pros in 1 year. The redesign puzzle, what we know about the upcoming design refresh. Old displays and thinner chassis, will it come with M5 or M6? Why the M5 might not be worth the wait for most users. M3 and M4 are already powerful. The M5 will bring only modest performance gains. Cheaper alternatives in 2025. The old leap old display benefits. Thinner, brighter, more efficient. Longevity and reduced burn-in. Why old is a bigger deal than M5. Apple's new thin obsession concerns about Apple going too thin again. How Apple's approach is different this time. Silicon carbon battery tech and smarter cooling. The MacBook Pro Ultra experiment leak. M3 Ultra in testing. Why it didn't launch. What it tells us about future Ultra models. Early verdict. Should you wait? Casual users versus power users? Is waiting for M6 a better idea? Script section 1 approximately 5,000 words. M5 MacBook Pro delayed. The real reason Apple held back faceless YouTube script. Section 1 Apple has made a move that's leaving fans and pros alike scratching their heads. For the first time in years, the company is breaking its usual MacBook upgrade pattern. That's right, there won't be an M5 MacBook Pro in 2025. If you've been holding out for a next-gen MacBook with Apple's new M5 chip, you might want to change your plans. A wave of leaks from reliable sources has confirmed what many feared. Apple is delaying the M5 MacBook Pro until early 2026. That means a full year with no new MacBook Pros, and that's something we haven't seen in a long time. Now, let's be honest. Apple is known for its tight, predictable product cycles. Every year, new chips. Every year, new MacBooks. It started with the M1 Pro in 2021, then the M2 Pro in early 2023, and the M3 Pro in late 2024. Everyone assumed the M5 Pro would follow right behind in late 2025, but that's not happening. Instead, Apple is choosing to pause the release entirely. It's not a delay of a few months, it's a shift in strategy. And when a company as methodical as Apple does something like this, it usually means something big is brewing behind the scenes. So what exactly is going on? Let's break it down. Apple breaks its rhythm for years. Apple's MacBook Pro lineup followed a pattern. You could set your watch by it. Each new generation brought a new chip, better efficiency, and a few modest design tweaks. It was reliable, consistent, and safe. But 2025 is different. According to insiders, there will be no MacBook Pros with M5 chips in all of 2025. Instead, Apple is aiming for a release in early 2026. That's a big shift, and it's no accident. You might be wondering why Apple would do this. Isn't consistency important? Doesn't Apple want to keep momentum? Yes, but the pause tells us something deeper. It's not about missing deadlines. It's about timing something bigger. A new timeline here's what the new release window looks like. Instead of a late 2025 MacBook Pro, Apple is expected to launch the M5 models in the first quarter of 2026. That includes both the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. But that's not all. There's talk of a second MacBook Pro launch later in the same year, possibly with a full redesign and even a new chip, the M6. That means we could see 2 major MacBook Pro models released within 12 months. Apple's done this before. They released the M2 Pro in January 2023, then followed up with the M3 Pro in October, just 10 months later. So it's not without precedent. Why would Apple do this again? One word, strategy. The first release gives users an upgrade with the M5. The second gives professionals a redesigned model, maybe even the first to include Apple's new OLED display technology. The redesign is coming. Eventually, let's talk about that redesign. If you've been following MacBook rumors, you've probably heard whispers about a major overhaul. It's not just a chip upgrade. It's a visual transformation, thinner, lighter, and more efficient. One of the most exciting rumors is the move to OLED displays. Apple has been using mini LED in recent Pro models, but OLED promises better contrast, true blacks, and thinner screen assemblies. That means slimmer laptops, lower power use, and better image quality. We're also hearing about a re-engineered chassis, possibly made with new materials, and redesigned internals to better support next-gen batteries and cooling systems. But here's the twist. Apple has two options: release the M5 MacBook Pro in early 2026, then launch the redesigned OLED model later that same year with the M6. Delay the redesign entirely and release it in 2027 alongside the M6. Both options are still on the table. Either way, we're in for a wait. Should you wait for M5? Now here's the big question. Should you wait for the M5 MacBook Pro? Let's be honest, the M5 chip will be faster than the M4. That's a given. It will likely have better efficiency, slightly higher core counts, and a more advanced GPU. But here's the catch: most users won't notice the difference. If you're a student, a content creator, a developer, or even a video editor, chances are your current M3 or M4 MacBook is already doing the job well. Unless you're rendering huge 3D environments or working with 8,000 video every day, the M5 is not going to transform your workflow. What's more, once the M5 launches, prices for M3 and M4 models will drop. Apple's refurbished store and third-party sellers will be offering deep discounts. And if you can get a powerful MacBook Pro for several $100s less, it might be smarter than chasing modest gains. So if you're not a bleeding-edge power user, the M5 probably isn't worth the wait. But the OLED redesign, that's another story. The real star. OLED displays lets focus on something that actually will change your experience, and that's OLED. Apple has been investing heavily in OLED technology for years, and now it's finally coming to the MacBook Pro. This isn't just a display upgrade. It's a whole new class of screen. OLED panels are thinner, brighter, and more efficient than mini LED. They offer better blacks, higher contrast, and a more immersive experience. But the benefits don't stop there. OLED allows Apple to make the laptop thinner and lighter without sacrificing battery life. Because OLED panels consume less power, especially when displaying dark content, they're a perfect fit for Apple's obsession with efficiency. Plus, OLED screens are more durable in the long term. They're less prone to backlight bleed, and with the right tuning, can reduce burn-in risk significantly. So even if the M5 chip itself isn't revolutionary, the OLED MacBook Pro will be Apple's thin MacBook vision. Done right. Now let's address something that worries longtime MacBook fans. Remember the 2016 era? The butterfly keyboard, the missing ports, the overheating. All in the name of making the MacBook thinner. Naturally, people are nervous that Apple might repeat those mistakes. But according to early reports, this time is different. With Apple Silicon, the need for bulky fans and complex thermal setups has gone way down. The chips are more efficient, run cooler, and need less space. On top of that, OLED panels are naturally thinner. That means Apple can slim down the display lid without cutting corners elsewhere. And there's more. Apple is working on next-generation silicon carbon batteries. These can store more energy in smaller cells, allowing thinner laptops with longer battery life. All of this means the MacBook Pro can be thinner, but still powerful, reliable, and user-friendly. This isn't about looks anymore. It's about smart design. The ultra experimentation of the most interesting leaks in all this has nothing to do with M5. It's about M3 Ultra. Apparently, Apple tested an internal prototype of a MacBook Pro powered by an M3 Ultra chip. This would double the core counts of the M3 Max, creating a laptop with performance levels closer to a desktop Mac Studio, but it never launched. Why? Most likely, it was a thermal and power issue. The chip simply ran too hot and used too much energy to fit inside a portable machine, even a 16-inch model. Still, the fact that Apple built and tested this device tells us something. They're thinking about an ultra-tier MacBook Pro, just like the iPhone Ultra or Apple Watch Ultra. There may be a time when Apple launches a $5,000 or even $10,000 MacBook Pro designed for elite professionals and studios. It didn't happen this year, but it's probably coming.